Hello and welcome to our Keele University Clearing webinar. I'm Tom from the Communications team and thank you for joining us this evening. Now, we'll be here discussing all things clearing and answering your questions. So if you have got a question for any of our team here tonight, pop them in the chat. If you're watching us on Teams or if you're watching on YouTube, you can also use the live chat function as well. So any questions you've got throughout this, pop them in there and I'll ask them to my two guests, which we'll go to now. Do you want to introduce yourselves? Sam, would you like to go first?
Yeah, so I'm Sam Lesniak. I'm Head of Applicant Marketing and Communications at Keele.
And Andy?
Hi everyone, thanks for joining us this evening or on the recording as well. It's great to have you here. My name is Andy, I'm Head of Global Undergraduate Student Recruitment and Access here at Keele University, so very much all things clearing is in our ballpark.
Fantastic. So yeah, so we'll be here for a bit. So if you have got any questions throughout, anything that you maybe want to answer from on the back of any answers that we go through or any questions that we go through, pop them in either of the chats and we'll be asking them as we go. But first of all, I think let's start very basic. So for those who may not know, what is clearing?
Yeah, it's a really good question, Tom, and it's a question I think what's really changed in the last few years. So lots of people used to think of clearing as kind of it's all gone wrong with my results. What do I do now? Can I find myself a new place? Will I be able to go to university or not? But I think the way that clearings works has really changed over the last few years. So now I'd say there's three main reasons why you might be considering clearing, and perhaps yourselves at home you're thinking about clearing at the minute. The first one is for a change of mind. And that can go two ways really. So if your grades don't turn out to be quite what you want them to be, there is that option to look at other university places as well. So if you're on results day and you think, oh, I've not got quite what I was hoping for, there are alternative options at universities that you can try and find to try and secure yourself a place. I think the second main option is also if you've got the grades that you wanted, you've got the university course that you wanted, you can also change your mind again. So universities will still have places available on certain courses, and there might be an option for you to simply change your mind and go for something a little bit different. And the third option, it might be someone who's sitting there now thinking, well, I haven't even applied to university. You can apply to us directly through clearing as well. So if you haven't applied to university before and you're still thinking, oh, maybe I'm not sure yet, clearing is a really good option to get that application in.
Fantastic. And so is there anything that people can be doing to prepare if they're thinking of applying through clearing, anything that they can be doing now or even in the next few weeks?
Yeah, I think there's loads of stuff you can do to get yourself ready. I mean, the fact that people will be here watching this now is a great start to get some of those questions answered when you're considering your options and your next steps. I think what crucially we try and give information out in lots of different ways. So lots of the sources that you already use, things like your UCAS hub, university websites, look at communications from universities as well, you'll already be very used to, and they'll be really, really helpful to help you work out what courses might be in clearing and how to find out about the process. One thing I would say is, and this sounds simple, but try not to be on holiday when results day comes around. It can be a bit stressful, things can change and move quite quickly, and often it's a lot easier to be here in the UK because you can then quickly call up some of your options. You can quickly go to schools, colleges, speak to teachers, support staff who you might have. If you're based overseas as well, you're trying to stay where you are located now and where you spend the majority of your time. It's where you're going to have the best support system to help you if you do need to change your mind. So if anyone needs to quickly go rebook a flight, that could be something you can have a look at after this session. But I'd say the other things are just about being as prepared as you possibly can. Have a look at other university options out there. It's quite easy to think it can all go well, and obviously we hope it all goes well as well and you get the results you want and you want to be in the place that you want to. But I think the best thing we see is when we see students prepared, and they tend to then find really good places, really good options for themselves quite quickly and quite last minute. But if they've done that upfront research and they've got an idea of where it is that they may want to go should their plans change, that usually puts you in the best position possible.
So other than obviously clearing your calendar and not kind of booking a holiday on the 17th of August, what else should you do on that day? What's the best things to do on the 17th of August?
So when the 17th of August comes round, there's, I think, two main things that you need to be worrying about. Well, lots of things to worry about potentially, but two main things are your results and that university decision. So if we start with that university decision, that's normally communicated to you through UCAS and by universities directly as well. You know, we'll often get in touch with you to confirm your place or confirm what's happened with your application. Now, the reason I say there's two things that are really worth checking is because that UCAS decision will tell you whether you're in university or not. And that is really crucial to check. So as I say, with the results, sometimes when you get your results, universities will still accept you onto their courses if you haven't quite hit the grades we were asking for. And people can find that a bit unnerving sometimes because they think, I've got a UCAS application saying I'm in, and I've got grades that don't match. It's whatever happens on your UCAS application is the decision. This happens all the time. We understand that students sometimes don't quite get the grades. That's why, you know, that personal statement you've worked really hard on, your reference, we look at all of those things again, and we just make sure that, well, it might have been a blip here and there. We still think they're going to be interested in the course that they said that they wanted to do. We think they can still be successful if they come to us at university. So your UCAS decision is crucial. When it comes to results, I think the really important thing is we can't do anything for you in clearing unless you have those results. And that's the same for every university. If you want to apply for a university place through clearing, you have to have them. And we've been in situations, I've worked at a few different universities now, I've always been on the phone on results day, and we do have people ringing up going, my UCAS application says I haven't got a place, I'm in clearing, can I apply? And we can normally move quite quickly as long as we've got the information there to work with, and that's your results. So I'd say two main things: check that UCAS application, make sure you know where you stand, and then ultimately get hold of those results, whether that's through your school, college. The difficult thing for us as universities, they will all happen differently. So some schools might email them, some will want you to come in person, some will text you, and it will be really different depending on the school and college that you attend. So in terms of that preparation piece, making sure you know what's going to happen with your results on that results day, and making sure to check that UCAS application are your two big things to get right. From there, universities have got loads of different options to engage with us. You can apply online in lots of places, you can give us a call, you can sometimes contact people via WhatsApp. There's loads and loads of different ways that you can try and engage with us, and we can try and get you the best decision as quickly as we can. But ultimately, we try and be in loads of different spaces to give you the best chance of asking the questions you want to. And finally, if you're not sure, if for any reason, you can always give us a call. So if you're still thinking, it looks like I don't have the grades, but I do have the place, you can always call us to double check. But normally it's that UCAS decision that will be the one that will be right, even if the grades aren't quite right. But if you're not sure, say, just jump on the phone. Our admissions team will be really happy to talk you through why that might have been and why those decisions might look a little bit different to what you expected. But fingers crossed, it should be exactly what you're expecting to see on the day.
I know you said there's a variety of methods to get in touch. Is the best one to just give them a call? If you're one of those people who's slightly paranoid about using the phone, I think is it still the best method and the cleanest method to kind of get peace of mind on 17th of August?
I'd say so. If you want that peace of mind, you almost want someone with I would have my Keele lanyard on, but you always want to see the lanyard, see someone who works here and get that kind of reassurance. We will be here. We'll be here to help throughout. We'll be in certain schools and colleges as well. So if you're particularly local to the university, there might be someone from the team there to kind of help and reassure you on the day. But yeah, if you want to call us up, I mean, the bad side of being on the phone is lots of people will be on the phone. So do expect a bit of a wait. And again, whichever university you're applying to, make sure to expect that as it were. But we will get round to you. But often that online application, sometimes people can make really, really quick decisions. So if you're applying for courses that are fairly straightforward in terms of entry requirements, if you've got your grades, you've got all your details ready and you're ready to go, filling in the online form gives us all the information up front. We can then sometimes make really, really quick decisions, sometimes on the spot decisions there online for you, depending on what it is that you're looking at. But also that means when you ring up, if you've got a nice reference number that we can go off, we can really quickly find all of your details and then give you the best answer as quickly as we can.
Smashing. So again, if you are watching either on YouTube or Teams and you want to ask a question to either Andy or Sam, just pop it in the chat and I'll pick that up and ask it on your behalf. But just following on then, so in terms of clearing then and courses that you might be able to attend, what courses has Keele got that are in clearing this year?
So we've got quite a lot of our courses will have some spaces available in clearing. There are some that are already full. So we don't have any spaces in clearing for medicine. And we have a waiting list at the moment for things like children's nursing and midwifery. We've also got very limited spaces in things like paramedic science, pharmacy, physiotherapy and radiography. But with quite a lot of our courses, there will be some spaces available. So best thing to do is have a look on our website. All of our vacancies are listed there. You'll also see what UCAS points you would need to get into those courses, along with any subject-specific entry requirements for some of our courses as well. So /clearing on the Keele website. Lots of that detail is all listed there. As things obviously do fill up towards clearing and then on results day as well, we'll keep that updated. Obviously, you'll be able to look in UCAS as well, and the UCAS website will have the courses from Keele and other universities, obviously, in there. But yeah, check out our website, and all of the courses we've got available are in there for you.
Now, it's quite a big decision, isn't it, coming to university? And especially through clearing, as you say, it moves quite quickly, and you might have not had chance to do maybe as much research as you'd want into the university that you're looking at. What's the best way if you've never stepped foot on campus, you don't know anything about Keele? How can you learn about what it's like ahead of time? In the next few weeks, if you're maybe considering it through clearing, what's the best way to learn about Keele?
I'd say have a look on the website. We've got a virtual tour on there, so you can get a real good feel for campus and explore some of the 600 acres. Not the whole thing on that tour, by the way. If you can, we've got an open day on the 19th of August, which is the Saturday just after results day. So you could come and have a look around then. We'll have people from all the teams across the university there at that open day. You'll be able to meet people from academic teams, students, from admissions, from student support. Our accommodation team will be there, things like that. So if you can come to that open day on the 19th, I'd highly recommend that. But yeah, have a look on the website. There's lots of information on there. Lots of videos and lots of tours to take you through some of the things that we've got on campus. It's a really big campus at Keele if you've not been before. It is about 600 acres. There's woodland, there's lakes, but kind of everything that you need will be in the centre of campus. So the shops, the cafes, the library, the Students' Union, all of the academic buildings are all clustered in the centre. We've got accommodation kind of dotted around. It's all within about a 10-minute walk of one another. So it's a lovely kind of compact community in like a really beautiful setting. So if you can come visit us, that'd be great.
Lovely. And you touched on accommodation there. Another big thing for anyone who's considering coming. And it's one of those hot questions that we get asked year on year during clearing. What happens with accommodation if you apply through clearing? Are you going to still get accommodation? Will you be sofa surfing for a bit? What actually happens?
No. So it is a really common question, and obviously it's a concern for people who are applying at that stage in August, perhaps for the first time to universities. Where am I going to live? And starting a course in a month's time. We've got about 2,500 bedrooms in our on-campus accommodation at Keele, and we will have some rooms available for students who join us through clearing. If once our accommodation on campus is full, and we're not able to find you an on-campus room, our student accommodation team will support you in finding accommodation in the local area. And we have lots of accommodation options in our local area, and the Keele student pad as well. It's all listed with accredited landlords in the local area. Our accommodation team will also give you advice on kind of finding the right accommodation option for you if it is that we're full on campus. And if we can't find your room on campus and you do live off campus, then you get a free bus pass for the year. But generally speaking, there will be some rooms available. You can apply for your accommodation once it's about 48 hours after you've had your offer. So if you do speak to us on the 17th of August on A-level results day, and you're like, yes, I'm going to be going to Keele, great. You have to wait then 48 hours before you can apply for your accommodation, because that's another common question that we get on the phone on results day is, I've got my place and can I apply right now? It just takes a little bit of time to work through the system, so you'll get your email then and you'll be able to go ahead and make that application.
Lovely. So let's move on to some questions that we've received. And we have actually had one just come through on YouTube. They've asked, what can we do to increase our chances of getting into Keele? So is there anything that you can do to increase chances of maybe getting into Keele through clearing?
I would say if you're looking at clearing, I guess the question could go two ways there, Tom. Really, if you've already kind of got your offer and you're already in place, obviously, hopefully you've revised really hard and you've done really well in your exams, and kind of it's in the hands of the markers now, I suppose it is. But in terms of from a clearing point of view, I think the best thing you can do is go onto our website. So all of our clearing courses will now be live. You'll be able to see them. You'll be able to see what options we're going to have available in clearing and the kind of points that we'll be looking at in terms of grade points. I think it's being as best prepared as you can. So save the phone number. We're normally live right as soon as you'll get that UCAS decision on 8 o'clock in the morning, and we'll have people here ready to answer that phone and get in. Again, I would say, going back to that point about results, we can't do anything without the results. So as much as people like to try and they love calling us, and we're more than happy to help and guide that process, it's the results that we need that enables us to do something to get that place secured. So if you're already in the system, hopefully you've revised and worked hard, and then you'll have some really good results on the day. If it's clearing, just get that phone on 8 o'clock in the morning. We'll be here to help, nice and bright and awake. We've had a few coffees by then probably, so we might be a bit more energetic than some people that time of day. But that's the best thing you can do.
And if you're interested, all the phone lines are, the opening times for the phone lines are listed on the website, aren't they? You can find them all there.
They are.
You just need to double check.
So if you've, like, say if you've got your results now, you could call us tomorrow at 9 o'clock, and you can have a chat with someone in our admissions team about your options. If you're waiting for A-level results, that's going to be on the 17th of August. A bit earlier on that day. Phone lines open from 8, but all of the various opening times are on the website from the 17th onwards, including the weekend, I think. Yeah. Saturday and the Sunday you can call as well.
Lovely. Another question from YouTube. Are the foundation courses usually available during clearing?
Yes, quite a lot of our foundation courses will be in clearing. There are some of the health courses with foundation years will be either waiting list or full. But yeah, quite a lot of our courses with a foundation year, and we have a foundation year across pretty much all of our courses at Keele. So yeah, that's an option for lots of people as well. And we get quite a lot of people who come and join us for a foundation year, and it's a really good option for them.
Lovely. One that was sent in earlier. So I guess quite a normal one for clearing. What happens if you don't get the grades that you're predicted?
Yeah, so if, let's say you're holding an offer at Keele and you don't get the grades that you're predicted, I would say don't panic. Check your UCAS hub, because it might be that you've still secured your place. Like Andy said earlier, we look at, your whole application, and sometimes if you've dropped a grade, that doesn't necessarily mean that you won't get in. So do check, your hub, and see what that decision is. Talk to us as well, because we're very flexible and friendly team, and our admissions team, are always interested in, your personal statements and kind of what else you can bring, not necessarily just your points. So even if we can't offer you your first choice in terms of the subject, we could talk to you about other options that you might be interested in. Maybe think about something that you've not considered before. Maybe think about something like a foundation year to take to that level.
Smashing. So we can take a few more questions. So if you have got a question, please do drop it in either the Teams chat or the YouTube chat, wherever you're watching, and I'll pick that up and ask it to either Sam or Andy. Another question that was sent in earlier is, how many students join Keele through clearing?
Yes, it's another question we get quite often, really. So it's one that's, I'll sound like a real politician's answer. It's really hard to answer, and varies from year to year, which hopefully is not exactly the answer you may have been hoping for. But it is absolutely true. It does really vary and depend year on year. So obviously, when we're going through that process of making offers, we're making offers based on predicted grades. And often predicted grades will be really close to what happens when you get your results. So we feel really confident in making those offers. But ultimately, if it all goes horribly wrong one year and nobody gets A's, B's at all, which is massively unlikely, but in theory could happen, we'd be taking everyone through clearing potentially. But if it did happen the other way and everyone got really, really strong grades, we then may have less flexibility on the day. So it's really, really hard to give you a kind of a concrete number. do have lots of students coming to Keele through clearing every year, though. So we're very used to supporting students through that journey through clearing. You won't be alone at all. There'll be lots of people in a similar boat to you. And that's true of lots and lots of universities as well. I think, again, going back to kind of, I think the first point that I started with, really, clearing is a really different world to what it was, 5-10 years ago. There'll be lots of people who just want to start university now. They may have thought it wasn't for them as they've gone through that final year of school, college, or potentially picked it up for their employer later in life, thinking now they want to do a university degree. They will be applying through clearing potentially. So there'll be lots and lots of different types of people coming through clearing and people coming through all sorts of different reasons. We're really set up to help support those students no matter kind of what route you've come through. I'd say we do it every year, so we're always prepared.
And with clearing, you don't miss out on any of the student experience, do you? I know you may get your place in August, but you still get all the normal welcome. You still get everything, don't you? You get a normal student experience.
100%.
Absolutely, and it's Sam's team that will be making sure you get all that communication through from us. You'll start at the same time as everybody else as well, so you needn't feel any different to anybody else who's come to Keele.
Maybe a little bit less in terms of shopping for the stuff that you need to take with you.
Yeah, I get the pots and pans either way.
Yeah.
We just had one question on YouTube, not necessarily related to clearing, but more on scholarships. Where at Keele can you find out more about the scholarships that we offer, and can you still get scholarships if you apply through clearing?
Our website's the best place to look for that kind of information. Yeah. We've got on our so this I've seen this question here particularly about certain countries. So on our international student pages, there are links to all the scholarships and things that we have available there. You can check that out. We've got a couple of questions as well, Tom, in the Teams webinar. So one is around how does clearing work for medicine? So I mentioned this earlier. Unfortunately, we don't have any places available for medicine through clearing. Not many universities would, I would imagine. It's quite rare. I think the sort of application process and everything for medicine is such that they will have waiting lists already established. So it's very, very rare for medicine to be in clearing.
Yeah, and all I'd add is, again, it's worth checking with the universities that offer the course. For us, we won't have any places available. We've had a phenomenal interest, as you can imagine. Some universities may have some vacancies in clearing. 5 years ago, that was absolutely unheard of. There are a few that crop up nowadays, but as I say, you'd have to be super quick getting on that phone and trying to get those applications in. But yeah, unfortunately for us, we're looking very likely to be all full up.
Just a couple more questions through Teams then, and then we'll go back to YouTube. To go through clearing, do you have to name the university in your UCAS?
No. So obviously you've made 5 choices potentially when you've gone through your UCAS process. You can apply somewhere brand new. You don't have to go to any of the ones that you've already applied to. You can go back to one. Say for example, you thought you applied to Keele and then you went to somewhere else and you thought that might be a better fit for you. So you declined an offer from Keele, but you want to come back through clearing. If we've got space, we'd be more than happy to talk to you about that. So it can be somewhere completely new as well. So if you'd never applied to Keele before and now you're sitting here thinking this sounds like it's a really good option for me and something I'd like to consider, again, you can apply to us straight away. The main difference I think with clearing and how we can move quicker is that we'll have those grades, so we'll know exactly where you stand, and that phone conversation is what enables us to make those quick decisions, which I appreciate is different from the normal UCAS process, which can take several months, but it allows us to do that a bit more quick. So you don't necessarily have to have applied to us already. You can apply to literally anywhere. And the other thing I'd say you can do as well is if you're not sure around different offers, and I've always said this is a little bit of a clearing hack if you like, call a few people. You don't need to just make one university choice. So if you're not sure and you kind of want to shop around a little bit, you can do that. When you're calling up and getting offers on the phone, you're not committing there and then. So if you wanted to ring 4 or 5 different universities, see what options you had and then weigh them up, you've got the flexibility to do that. So they don't have to be ones you've already applied to.
Yeah. In terms of, I'm just thinking on the day of like A-level results day, if you're wanting to secure your place, you have, called a university, let's say you call Keele, you've had that offer over the phone, and then what happens in terms of, going into UCAS and then picking, you would then select Keele, wouldn't you, in that side of UCAS on the day itself?
Yeah, it's a really good point, Sam. Yeah, after that process, so what would normally happen is you'd ring us up, we'd make you a verbal offer over the phone, we'd then usually follow that up with an email, so you've got a kind of that reference number, and then what you would then do is add it into your UCAS application on the UCAS system to confirm that you want to accept that place. So you can get almost as many offers as you want, but you can only accept one. So it's just making sure by the time you make that choice to accept one of those offers that you're really happy and content with that one.
Yeah, and we've got, again, lots of information on the website about kind of how to confirm your place once you've had that offer made as well.
So do your research and have a look at those pages, basically.
Yeah.
No, great questions going through. If you have got a question, we'll be here for another few minutes. So just drop that into either the YouTube or Teams chat, and I can ask it to either Sam or Andy before we finish. Another one from Teams. So this is around. So if you've applied for a place and you're denied the place, you didn't get through on your first kind of application because of your personal statement or whatever the reason may be, can you then reapply for the same university through clearing? And do you get another chance to resubmit a personal statement, or do you have to go with whatever is in UCAS at the time of applying for your 5 universities?
So in terms of from the personal statement perspective, we often aren't looking for a personal statement through clearing. It's usually that phone call that allows us to make those decisions quite quickly. So we don't require a new personal statement. We don't require a personal statement at all as such during the clearing process, quite specifically. It's often quite a bit of a tricky one, and I appreciate this can be difficult at different universities. Lots of the time that if a student has been unfortunately unable to get an offer, it's quite unlikely that you would get one again through clearing, because we tend to look at the whole, as you mentioned, Sam, that whole application. But I appreciate people are getting more than welcome to ring us up on the day. We often do get times where students will do absolutely brilliantly in their results and they want to do that change of mind piece. So rather than thinking of it as a fallback option, they're then thinking, can I change my mind and do something different? And that's where the phone call can be really valuable. But what would normally happen is you ring up someone in our admissions team, they'll run through that with you. They'll talk about whether it's the right sort of fit for you. And we do that verbally rather than needing that additional personal statement.
Fantastic. Back over to YouTube now, and one on accommodation. In terms of the types of accommodation that you'll have access to, can you get accommodation where it's just for a single person to live in? Will you be sharing accommodation? How does that work? And if so, how can you find out how much they all cost?
I'm going to say the website again. You're not going to say the website again. So all of our accommodation on campus is single rooms, single occupancy. If you have a look on keele.ac.uk/accommodation, that will give you all of the room types that we have. So we've got a real variety of room types, from kind of a classic room all the way through to ensuite rooms. And different sort of price points. They're all priced on there per week, and you can see we've got different kind of length contract as well, from sort of like 37 weeks, and some are a little bit available for a little bit longer, but typically it's a 37 or 38 week contract. So yeah, I say have a look at the website, and all the information about the different room types is on there.
Back over to Teams, and again, great questions. It's kind of final call for any questions that are coming through. Drop them in either of the chats so that I can get them answered before we kind of wrap everything up. But this question came through on Teams. Do you know from today if there are any spaces for physiotherapy at Keele? And I think on a wider basis, is there anywhere to go to find out if there are any spaces, any courses? What's the best way to find out?
Where would we look? Yeah, so have a look on the website. But yeah, I do know there are a very few limited places available for physiotherapy in clearing that we've currently got on the website. I would, like I say, keep coming back to that and check on that, because things do fill up, and that's where we'll update that website there. So it's keele.ac.uk/clearing. And when you're on that website, you can look at all of the vacancies that we've got, and also the UCAS points that you would need to get onto one of those courses through clearing. And then there's also all of the subject-specific entry requirements. So if you want to do a subject that requires you to have certain, perhaps A-levels, then they'll all be listed on there as well.
Appreciate you might not be able to answer this one from YouTube.
We'll do our best.
And feel free to point us to the website if you want. This one's come through. When does the university, I'm not even sure if this is related to clearing, to be honest, but when will the university start offering a CAS letter for the September 23 intake? And if you are an international student, can you still join us through clearing in the same way that a home student would?
Yeah, that's a really good question. So we have started that process. So they are going out. We normally can only offer the CAS when we've got the results through. So what we tend to do is make sure we do this pre-CAS process that our admissions team and our visa team will be working through with you now. But we can only do that final confirmation once we've got your results through. That will be pretty consistent with every university, and they will only be able to that way. I appreciate that's often sometimes frustrating and leaves people feeling a little bit uneasy, but that's the normal process that we go through every year. I'd say on that one, if you've got any concerns around CASs, again, this is mainly for our international students, if you're looking at joining us from September, I'd email our visa team, so visa@keele.ac.uk, and Mark and the team will be more than happy to help with any inquiries there. But they're definitely the best people to ask any kind of visa inquiries. But yeah, just drop them a line and they'll be happy to help.
Thank you. I think in Teams we've had a follow-up question to the physiotherapy one.
Okay.
They've called Keele, and they've been asked to submit an academic qualification, but they were aware that they were applying for clearing spaces. Is that the norm? They weren't told if there are any spaces or not. I'm guessing it's the best thing to do, just give them a call.
Yeah, I'm just looking at the question.
Do you want me to pop to another one whilst you have a look at that one?
Yeah.
Very easy one for you, Andy.
Yes.
Where can you find any clearance availability?
No, this is my line.
That's
I'm going to
back
be
to
that.
There you go.
If you go to keele.ac.uk/clearing, you'll find all of our clearing vacancies there. But thinking more broadly, if you were interested in clearing as a whole, where could you go to if you were looking at different clearing options that might be out there? UCAS is a really, really good place to start. So we'll all often list our courses on UCAS with a little flag on it of in clearing to let you know that if we've got clearing vacancies. But very similar to us, if you swap the word Keele for any other university you're looking for and then go to .ac.uk/clearing, I would imagine that you'll probably find your way to those universities' websites as well, and they'll be able to talk to you about their offers. I've been on calls with lots of different universities today, and they're all updating their websites as we speak with their vacancies. So I look at individual universities. If you're not sure where to start, have a look at UCAS's website. UCAS also kind of really bolster their customer care team as well around this period. So if you want to call someone and you feel more comfortable having that chat over the phone, you can speak to that UCAS team, nice and impartial. They'll be able to talk you through a range of different options, as we would be happy to do so as well.
Do you know what I think we could touch on as well? Embargo. Because
The
that's not well
embargo,
understood, is
yeah,
it?
that's a really
and there is
good
a little
point.
period where if you call, you can't really have too much of a conversation.
Yeah, so this is something that I don't think people necessarily know about lots. But before your results come through to you, a lot of the time we aren't able to talk to you about your application. So it's within about a week of the UCAS application results coming through. We actually can't talk to you about your application. We often find people find that really disconcerting, and they think, oh, what's gone wrong here? They won't talk to me and they can't give me any advice. It's completely normal. Every single year that happens. What we try and do is to ensure fairness for all universities and fairness for all students. So just during that kind of last week where we're just processing everything and finalising up those decisions, we can't talk to you about your application. That doesn't mean there's a problem. It just means that every university is doing the same thing and trying to get the results to you in the best way that we possibly can when those go live at 8 o'clock on the 17th of August. So totally normal, not anything to worry about. If you've got questions about, you can always ask us. If you do call us, we'll be happy to tell you it's because we can't share information about that. But if you do hear that, don't panic. It's not a problem.
Just circling back, Sam, I'm guessing it's the best. It's quite. Do they need to kind of talk to admissions? It's a bit too specific, is it?
Yeah.
Without knowing the wider details.
Yeah, I would say if you are already in dialogue with our admissions team, you can drop them an email, and it's admissions@keele.ac.uk to sort of follow that up. But if you are applying right now, then we're in clearing. So if you've got your results and you're applying for that place, they will then be looking at your application to see whether or not they'll be able to offer that to you.
Yeah, and all I'd add is, particularly with physiotherapy and some of the health courses, a lot of the time we can't make really rapid decisions because we might need to interview as well. So particularly things like physiotherapy, nursing, radiography here at Keele, we do need to do kind of extra steps, and that's a lot to do with the profession that you're going into. They require us to interview for those courses. So again, completely normal. That would happen on the 17th of August, just as it would on just checking the date, the 6th of July. Absolutely normally part of the process. We can't quite do that as quickly, whereas for some courses we can make quite quick decisions. Those health ones, because of the profession that you'll be going into, they do take a little bit more time. But that is completely normal. And as I say, if you've been asked to submit an academic qualification, if you've got those results, get them through to our team and they'll be able to review those.
Lovely. A few more questions coming in, which is great. We'll fire through those. But again, if you do have a question, keep them coming. I guess we're kind of going to stay until we kind of almost run out. So if you've got a question, keep trickling them through, and we'll probably just stay here longer. So we'll keep going through. This one, quite an interesting one, and this might be one that you can't really answer because again, it might just be too varied. But what undergraduate degree is most commonly chosen? I'm going to add through clearing to that. Is the one that's kind of a hot potato, or are they all kind of there?
I'd say it's almost impossible to answer, really. It depends what you want to do. Ultimately, there's all sorts of ways you can answer that question. Yeah, there are courses that are really popular, but we tend to find courses that are popular are always popular, if that makes sense. So things like your laws, psychology, business, lots of people want to study those courses. There's usually lots and lots of places for them as a result, because we know lots of students want to come and study those with us. But yeah, it's almost impossible to say. But ultimately, I'd almost flip the question back really and think about what you want to do. But also perhaps having that backup plan as well. So if you are really passionate about an area of marketing, for example, and then marketing was the absolute one thing you want to do, maybe have a look at other business related courses that have got some options with marketing or marketing modules within a business course. That's another way you can think about expanding your options in clearing. Because I know that's really hard, isn't it, basically, to say, have a look out there and see what there is. But I think that's one way of doing it. Think about kind of what courses you're interested in. Think about a backup plan that's related to that course and where you can make the links. But I'd also say on the other side of things, there's so many degree courses out there at universities and loads of options that you can do as well. I mean, probably between us, we've probably all got all sorts of different qualifications. My degree's in French and German, so I did study language at university. We are now not speaking either of those languages, but we are communicating, which is what my degree was in. That's my job now in a nutshell. So I wouldn't panic too much. If there is something you're really desperate to do, I'd say look at the links into those different courses and think about alternative kind of backup plans if you want. But I'd say things that tend to be popular throughout the year also tend to be popular in clearing. But we try and make sure we've got as much capacity as we can for students that we know want to do our courses.
And it's a great point about it. And you're very open about have a look at all the different options, and it's such a huge decision, isn't it? You know, spending potentially 3+ years at a university. So it is why you're kind of hammering home to go and do your research, aren't you? And don't just kind of make a decision on a whim.
Yeah, and you can feel really pressured to do things quite quickly. I'd say one of the other things perhaps to be aware of is that UCAS won't actually let you submit that final choice until the afternoon. So you could get an offer at 8 a.m. from Keele. 8:01, you could be the first person on the phone, offer straight in. You won't be able to accept that on UCAS until that afternoon. And that's there for a good reason. It's to give you those few hours to kind of reflect, make sure you're thinking about it, make sure you're thinking about the right option, potentially ringing other people and getting other options, but you didn't hear that from me. But to give you the space and time to do that, ultimately. So that's what I'd recommend. You don't try, where you can, what we're trying to say is do the research up front so you don't find yourself making really rash, quick decisions. You do have to move with a bit of pace, but hopefully if you've got all the preparation right, and again, people here asking questions like this is great because they're clearly doing that, which is exactly what we would always advise.
I'm going to guess that this is a very specific course question, but someone has asked, would if you apply, would you need to do a new DBS check for the course that you're applying for?
If the course requires a DBS check, yes, we would still need to go through that process. And again, that's quite common in the health courses. So again, something we do every single year. If we go through those courses in clearing, we know what those timescales look like. But if we do need the DBS check, we would still need it.
Again, just going back to the person who asked about physiotherapy, and that you've checked the UCAS website, the best thing to do is either give us a call again and just have another chat with us and talk through what you're looking to do and what information you're looking to get, or you can email us.
I think for this particular question, I'll pop a response directly to the person in the stream. Don't worry.
Amazing.
There is a question just above that one as well.
That's
Tom.
the one I'm on to next.
Lovely. Okay.
Got this all in hand. So this is, I guess, what sort of grades? The question is, do you accept BTEC grades? But on a wider front, what can people apply with? What grades are we looking for and things like that? What's the vast amount of things that people can submit?
Yeah, so it's a great question, and the answer is yes. The answer is 100% yes. We accept a real wide range of qualifications here at Keele. We've got people who've done all sorts of things, haven't we? So in the UK, overseas as well. In a nutshell, if we're looking at those courses in the main cycle, so if you can apply for them at any point, we will still accept those qualifications in clearing. They're just as valid. It just might be sometimes different grades within those qualifications that we would be able to accept during clearing. So whatever is that A-level, BTEC, T-levels, or any of your overseas qualifications that we're used to handling. So the International Baccalaureate results are out today, and there'll be potentially some people sat there with those results. Absolutely, we'd be more than happy to accept any of those qualifications that we normally would accept. Mm-hmm. Give us a call in clearing and we'll be able to look at those for you.
Is there a place where you can go to check what sort of things that you can apply with?
There is indeed.
Really?
Yeah, it's going to shock you, Tom, but if you look at the website, on the current vacancies page, we'll give you an idea of the UCAS points that you would need to get onto a course in clearing. You can use any kind of UCAS points calculator, but UCAS have got one on their website. Pop in what your qualifications are. That'll tell you how many points that equates to, and then you'll be able to see, so for the majority of our courses that you'll see on our website, we're looking at between 72 and 96 UCAS points. There are some that will need slightly different from that, and there are quite a few that have subject-specific requirements. If you look on the entry requirements page there, you'll see the subject-specific requirements, and we have got those in as A-levels and as BTECs, and IB are in there as well. So you actually be able to see straight away if it's a particular course that you're interested in and you're doing BTEC at the moment, what you would need to get that.
Another great question from YouTube, just more about Keele, really. They've asked how many achievements Keele has, but let's kind of rephrase that. Kind of tell me a bit more. What's kind of the top level things about Keele? Give me a few kind of things about our campus, things about what courses we offer. What are kind of, which almost elevator pitch, let's call it, about Keele. What's your short and sweet? What is Keele?
So in terms of, so it's particularly about achievements, isn't it? So that's a good one. Lots, I would say. We have been, we've been at universities for 75 years
it's
nearly.
It's actually right above your head. Established in 1949.
We've had quite a long kind of varied history, lots of different courses that have been available at Keele for a really long time. Now we have three main faculties. So we have our Faculty of Medical and Health Sciences, our Faculty of Natural Sciences, and our Faculty of Humanities and Social Sciences. So we've got a real variety of courses at undergraduate level. We've got just under 200 undergraduate courses that we'll have available, in 2023, this September. So yeah, there's lots and lots of courses there. So there's lots of variety. From a, what's it like on campus point of view, it's beautiful. It's a really lovely campus. It's a very sort of nice, friendly community. A lot of our students talk about feeling kind of like they're part of a very nice community and a bubble. They do refer to the Keele bubble quite a lot. They come and they kind of don't really need to leave for very much very often. Students' union's great. Shops and cafes and bars and things on campus are great, and it's a really nice sort of community feel. We do score really well in things like student satisfaction surveys. So we're number one in 2022 in the Student Crowd University Awards, number one in the UK. So it's great that was our students kind of ranking us in that. So yeah, it's always really nice to see those kinds of achievements.
Lovely. Well done, Sam.
Thank you. Go on, Andy.
Yeah, I think you've hit the nail on the head there, Sam, really. I think the best thing about Keele for me is that all the students who come here have a brilliant time. And they do tend to tell us that as well, don't they? They like it. If you're looking for that kind of campus experience, I'd say you'd struggle to find more places, more campus style than Keele. We've got a really nice community here at the university, and I would say as well, it's very easy for us to say as staff who work here, but I said those student awards are always nice to get. And if you ever want to speak to our students, you can also do that on our website. But if you want to speak to our students, we've got around 20 different student ambassadors on our website. So I think that's again through keele.ac.uk. You'll be able to talk to some of our current students about their experiences, and they're on there all the time on our UniBuddy platform. So if you do want to get a sense of what it's like to be a Keele student, I'd say go and have a chat with them, and they'll tell you exactly what it's like to be a student here at the university as well, and they'll be able to give you the inside scoop.
I think, is that still keele.ac.uk/chat?
It is, yeah.
Yes.
We'll do one final question, because it's quite a nice one. So, after studying at Keele, what's the kind of percentage of undergraduate students who are able to go on and get jobs after graduating?
A percentage.
I think
the exact percentage. I can tell you the exact percentage. So in the HESA Graduate Outcomes Survey from 2019-20, 95% graduate employability is the stat for Keele, and it's also on our website.
Lovely. Thank you so much for all those questions. We're going to finish off with one more. So for those who are thinking of joining Keele, what is some final advice that you would give them? Let's start with Andy.
Yeah, it's a great question. I'm going to sound like a broken record. I'll leave Sam to yours. I think I can know what you would say. But for me, it just makes sure you're in the best place possible to get the most out of clearing. If you're thinking of joining Keele through clearing, be aware of how that you can join us and get in touch with us. So that's the online form, or it's that phone number, and have your results. I know, again, I've said that multiple times throughout the evening, but what we want to be able to do is give you the best chance of securing those places and offers. If you're still not sure, we'll always be happy to talk to you as well. Yeah, particularly some of my team will be out and about, perhaps visiting you in schools, college over the next few weeks. But our admissions team are always happy to talk to you, run through different options with you. So be prepared, give us a call if you're not sure about anything, and remember, check your UCAS application, check your results, and once you've got those two things sorted, we can really get those things moving for you.
Lovely. And Sam?
Go on, ask me the question one more time.
So the question is, what advice would you give to someone who is thinking of joining Keele?
Other than look at the website.
Other than look at the website.
Yeah, there's lots of information on there. I think, if you can come and visit us, that would be great. You can have a look at our Open Days page. We do campus tours as well. So even if before August you wanted to pop onto campus and visit us and get a feel for what campus is like, that's always a great way to kind of really, get a feel for the atmosphere here. And then, like Andy says, I think, give us a call. Our team are really friendly, and they'll talk you through your options, on results day.
Brilliant. Thank you both. That has been very, very insightful, and thank you for all those questions. They've been brilliant. Thanks for taking time out of your evening to join us. Again, if you just want to find out any more information about clearing, head to keele.ac.uk/clearing. You can find out loads of FAQs. You can find out the number to call if you want to chat to the team. And again, call them anytime. You can have a look at the opening times for the phone line. Give them a call if you just want to chat through options and get more information as well. Thank you both, and thank you for watching. And hopefully see you at Keele.
Yeah, thanks everyone.
Cheers.